My name is Tessa Quinn, and my engagement dinner was the moment I realized I had never been a daughter to them, just a running expense. The restaurant was elegant, candlelit, filled with people who had watched me grow up. My fiancé, Nolan, held my hand. The waitress brought out champagne. Glasses raised. Then my father stood. He tapped his fork to his glass and said, grinning, "You know, we only kept Tessa because getting rid of her was too expensive." Laughter exploded, not just from him, from my mother, from my uncle, from my cousins, from people who changed my diapers, who signed birthday cards. I didn't cry. I didn't speak. I stood, tucked in my chair, and walked out, heels echoing across polished floors. Nolan followed, stunned. "Are you okay?" I nodded. "I just need air." But in that moment I knew. I wasn't part of their family. I was tolerated. A tax write-off wrapped in a polite smile. And they thought that joke would stay at the table, that I'd laugh, play along, and keep pretending. They were wrong. Because months later, when they tried to erase me from the family trust, I returned with documents that tore their legacy apart. The news came in a casual envelope, thick, cream-colored, with my father's law firm in small print. I opened it on the kitchen counter, thinking it was another update about estate paperwork. Instead, it was a revision, a new version of the family trust. My name wasn't in it. I scanned the pages, certain I missed something. But no, they'd erased me. Cleanly, coldly, not reduced, removed. I called my mother first. She sighed like I was being difficult. "Tessa, this isn't personal. It's just simpler this way." Simpler. We thought it made more sense to give everything to your brother. You've got Nolan now. A good man. You don't need this. Then my father chimed in. "He's carrying the name forward. You're starting a new one." That's when I understood. My engagement dinner wasn't a joke. It was a warning. A final laugh before the door closed. But they underestimated me. Because for years, I'd been keeping receipts. Literal ones, financial transfers, unpaid loans I'd covered for them, emails, signatures. Copies of every contribution I made to the family business before they forced me out. I wasn't just disinherited. I was done being quiet. And they were about to learn what I kept. I didn't retaliate with emotion. I retaliated with precision. First, I scheduled a private meeting with the family's longtime accountant, a man who once called me the responsible one when I caught a six-figure tax error in his file. He was surprised to see me. "You're not on the trust anymore," he said awkwardly, flipping through the documents. "I know," I replied, "but I am in the archives." I handed him a flash drive. Inside, years of transaction records. Proof I personally funded a loan to keep the family business afloat in 2019. Documentation that I contributed over $140,000 in silent capital while my brother posted ski trips and my parents hosted galas. Receipts they thought I wouldn't keep. Signatures. Emails. Wire transfers. He looked pale by the time he finished. "You could challenge the trust." I smiled. Oh, I planned to. But I wasn't going to court quietly. Not yet. I sent one email, subject line, transparency. Attached, a 36-page PDF titled Contributions by Tessa Quinn, 2014 to 2023. I sent it to every stakeholder, board member, and trustee tied to the family business. They wanted to erase me quietly. I was going to make sure I reappeared loudly. By the end of the week, silence gave way to chaos. I didn't get calls, I got statements. Confused, defensive, outraged. My father's attorney emailed me personally. "We received your materials. What exactly is your goal here?" I didn't respond. Instead, I forwarded that question to the trustees, with an addendum. "My goal is transparency, same as yours. Happy to schedule a formal audit of the trust's funding history." By Friday, 3 board members requested a pause on all trust distributions. That meant my brother's monthly stipend? Frozen. My parents' dividend funnel from the family company? On hold. And the best part? It wasn't personal. It was procedural. Because once you suggest a trust is built on fraudulent omission, suddenly everything has to be reviewed. Publicly. Nolan, my fiancé, read the letters over my shoulder and whispered, "This is surgical." I turned to him. They wanted to pretend I didn't exist. I'm just reminding them I kept receipts. At that moment, I got a message from my brother. "You don't know what you're doing. You're destroying our family name." I stared at it for a while, then replied, "No, I'm reclaiming mine." The next dinner was supposed to be a calm family discussion. I didn't go alone. I brought Nolan 3 copies of my documentation and a certified financial advisor, not to speak, just to listen. His presence alone shifted the energy. My father looked annoyed. My mother looked tense. My brother didn't look at me at all. Dad started with a sigh. "Tessa, this isn't necessary. You blindsided us." "No," I replied. "You cut me out behind closed doors." I opened a window. Mom reached for sympathy. "We just thought you'd be taken care of, with the wedding and all." "You mean Nolan would take over what you didn't want to give me?" I said. "The fiancé fund." She flinched. Truth lands heavy when it's said plainly. My father tried again. "We can resolve this. Quietly." I leaned forward. "Then restore my name. Retroactively. Fully. Or the audit continues." He looked ready to explode. But the advisor spoke for the first time. "If she pushes this through court, discovery could get messy. For all of you." And that's when the room changed. I wasn't just the daughter they underestimated. I was the one holding the matches, and they'd built their legacy on dry wood. The next morning, the apology emails started. First from my uncle, a trustee, with a polite subject line, "Let's reset the conversation." Then from my cousin, asking if I really meant to send the documents to the full board. And finally from my mother, "Tessa, you've made your point. Don't punish your family for a mistake." Mistake. They'd watched Dad revise the trust, watched him strip my name out like I never existed, and now it was a mistake. I didn't respond. Instead, I met with the accountant again. We reviewed the full estate, combed through every irregularity. More than once, he paused and said, "You have every right to take this public." But I didn't want headlines. I wanted consequences. So I filed the formal challenge. Cited financial misconduct, fiduciary breach, exclusion based on gender and marital status. All quietly, all legally. The kind of filing that makes institutions pause. By the end of the week, Nolan received an invite to a reconciliation lunch. Not me. Him. They thought he was still the key to controlling me. He accepted. And when he showed up, he brought my lawyer with him. A woman. Named on every document they'd ever ignored. They thought inviting Nolan would soften me. They smiled, poured wine, made small talk about the venue we hadn't even booked yet. My father gestured around the table, voice calm. "No reason this can't stay in the family. We've all made mistakes." My lawyer, Miranda, sat beside Nolan, notebook closed, calm and unreadable. She replied, "Mistakes are forgivable. Patterned exclusion is actionable." My mother stiffened. "There's no need to bring hostility." "Hostility," Miranda repeated. "You disinherited your daughter in secret, then sought reconciliation with her fiancé. That's strategy, not family." My father tried to recover. "We're offering to put her back in the trust. We'll call it a correction." Miranda leaned forward. "With full retroactive interest, plus restitution for prior business contributions, and board reinstatement with signatory authority." Silence. They weren't expecting terms. They were expecting forgiveness dressed as compromise. But I wasn't negotiating for love anymore. I was negotiating like I'd learned from them. My mother whispered, "You'd really do this to your own blood?" I finally spoke. "You already did. I just made sure it had a paper trail." The next day, they signed everything. Because this time, I didn't ask for a seat. I claimed the table. The reinstatement was official within 7 business days. I received the signed addendum to the trust, the apology letter my parents' lawyer insisted on drafting, and full documentation of backdated financial restitution, all wired into a separate account, in my name only. They never apologized directly. And that was fine. Because this was never about an apology. This was about identity and ownership. They had spent years crafting an image of a family built on tradition, control, and legacy. But I had built something else, a record. A defense. A spine made of paper trails and patience. Nolan and I didn't rush the wedding. We took a trip instead. Paris, the city I'd always wanted to see, but was always told we couldn't justify. I stood on a balcony overlooking the Seine and thought about that night at the restaurant, my father's laugh echoing in my memory. We only kept you because getting rid of you was too expensive. And in the end, he was right. Getting rid of me would have cost him everything. But keeping me silent? That was the real price he couldn't afford. I didn't burn the house down. I just turned on the lights.